Hi, and welcome to Linda Lectures. Linda Lectures is the name my children gave to the parental speeches I often used to torture my children and their friends, as in, oh gosh, here comes another Linda lecture or a mom lecture, depending on their age. I especially like to deliver these gems while I had them all trapped in my car. I don't care if you agree or disagree, but I do hope you'll use these to start conversations when your family is trapped together. Hi, and thanks for joining Linda Lectures. Today is our inaugural video podcast, so we'll see how that goes. I can always go back to audio if you guys hate looking at my face. But the title of today's episode is Bask in My Perfection. So that's what we'll be talking about today, perfection and the thought of living up to it. What do we do to ourselves? So I've noticed it recently in a lot of my business interactions, and I'm experiencing this as I try to build my own business. It's really true. And the saying is that perfection is the enemy of good enough. And we can get so caught up in being perfect in one area that we get stuck on that area and don't pay attention to other areas. At least that's the intention when it's spoken about in business, right? You can't get everything done if you're focused on one thing being perfect and getting it just absolutely perfect. So I thought in this first video episode that we'd talk about the notion of perfection. And, I spent a lot of my years beating myself up over not being perfect. And I have a wall that you can't see that is covered with what we call my Mother of the Year awards. And I started hanging those things in my mind as I went through life. Now I think it's maybe ADD, but I've gone through my life not being perfect and only recently stopped beating myself up about it. But if you could see these Mother of the Year awards, you'd see a lot of missed appointments and missed birthdays. I've done the right appointment on the wrong day. I've done the right appointment on the wrong week for the kids. Of course, they were just really embarrassed every time I did this to them. Another one was at a baseball tournament with a bunch of 12-year-olds. And I had escaped to the cool car during a break between games to refresh myself. It's hot and those are long weekends. And while the air conditioning was running, I put one of my books on tape to play in the car. Well, it was a grown-up book on tape. And sure enough, I turned off the car, went back with the girls. My daughter went to go get something out of the car, turned it on, the book automatically got to play, and I think it was probably the single most risque and inappropriate line for a 12-year-old to hear that I've ever heard on any of the books I've ever read. Like, it was the worst possible adult-themed, sex-themed line that could have played in the car. And of course, my daughter didn't just come to me and say, "Mom, you will not believe what they said on your book." But she told her father first, who was appalled for her. And it's been an ongoing joke in the family that they tease me about. So that's another Mother of the Year award. Another one, my daughter Madeline, my oldest, says all the time that every time she would walk into our bedroom in the evenings, there would be naked people. And I was watching, I think, Game of Thrones at the time, which has a lot of bad scenes, but she really was right. It was every single time it was a bad scene on, she would walk in the room to ask something or tell me something. Luckily, she was getting older at this point, but another Mother of the Year award. So let's see what else. I have been to very few teacher meetings. I've never joined the PTA. I don't walk my dogs. I don't do enough for my in-laws, and I don't volunteer. So that's just a few of the things. Oh, and I work too much. I don't pay enough attention to my family and give them the time they need. So I am far, 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 far from perfect. And I love that you guys are listening to my mom advice. I think I've done the best I can. And I think over the years, I've developed some pretty sound theories about how life works and ideas of how best to live life, at least according to me. So that's what you hear on this podcast. That's what I go over on the weekly episodes. I don't like to keep them too long, so I am going to wrap this up here shortly. But this episode was really just to remind you that no one is perfect. If you are still trying to be perfect, you're headed for an early grave. They've proven that stress is hard on the body, it's hard on the mind. You're not at your best for your family if you're constantly beating yourself up. And stop trying to be perfect. Don't apologize for it. Just say, I missed your birthday, here's your card. You know, in our family, it's a joke, and it's such a joke that they actually make a really big deal about it if I get a card out on time. That's how bad it's been. But I always rolled with it, and so they always rolled with it. And I would always call to wish people happy birthday or, oh my God, I missed it. It doesn't matter, right? If the people are people that truly love you, they shouldn't be judging you for this stuff. We're all busy, and they're not perfect either. So forgive them, forgive yourself, stop trying to be perfect. And this fallacy, this utter lie that women can do it all is bad. It's bad. Women are starting to have more and more heart attacks and have more and more cardiac symptoms. And you want to know why? I should say cardiac problems. It's because we're trying to do it all. And men, step up. If your wife wants to be the breadwinner, go out and get an easier job or stay home with the kids once in a while. Pick up some of the slack. And if you're both working, for Pete's sakes, hire someone to clean the house. Who can do a deep level cleaning on their house? I love clean countertops and floors, especially bathroom and kitchen. Hire someone. Why does it have to be you that gets this stuff done? Is it a matter of pride? You think you need to be Martha Stewart? Guess what? That's her whole job. And I love Martha Stewart. I would have a blast doing things the way she does. It's not my style. It's not me. You have paper plates when you come to my house. That's just the way it is. Just stop apologizing for it. Stop trying to be perfect. Love yourself for who you are, ladies. Men, chip in and help them out. Tell them they don't need to be perfect. Don't expect yourself to be perfect either, men. We're all trying to find our way through this world, do the best we can for our families, our kids' futures, our employers, for all the roles you play. If you were perfect in any one of them, all the rest would go to hell. I personally like a nice, even, I suck a little bit at everything I do. At least I get everything done. So anyhow, thank you for listening to Linda Lectures, and I hope you'll join me again next time. Thanks for listening to this Linda Lecture. I hope you'll talk about these topics with your kids when it's age appropriate. They hear you even if they disagree, hate the process, or give your lectures a funny nickname. They are listening and taking their cues from you. Check out our polls and be part of future episodes by leaving comments in the Q&A or by leaving a voicemail at the number in the show description. Good luck out there. Don't take things too seriously, and I hope you'll join me again for another Linda Lecture.